Have you ever noticed something strange? You can still remember one of the happiest days of your life, your first kiss, the day you graduated, the moment someone said, "I'm proud of you." But the pain from your worst heartbreak? It doesn't feel as sharp anymore. It happened. You know it hurt. But somehow, the emotion faded. Why? Why does your brain seem to let go of pain faster than happiness? The answer isn't luck. It's one of the smartest survival tricks your brain has ever developed. There's a fascinating psychological phenomenon called the fading affect bias. It sounds complicated, but the idea is surprisingly simple. Over time, your emotional pain fades faster than your positive emotions. And the reason why might completely change the way you think about your own memories. Imagine two memories. One makes you smile, the other makes your stomach sink. Both happened on the same day. Both were stored inside your brain. But years later, one still feels warm, the other feels distant. Psychologists have studied this pattern for decades. People kept journals. Researchers tracked their emotional reactions over months, sometimes years. Again and again, they found the same result. Both positive and negative emotions fade with time, but negative emotions fade much faster. Not because you forget what happened. You remember the event. You simply stop feeling it the same way. And that's a very important difference. The body has an immune system. When you get sick, it quietly starts healing you. Your mind has something surprisingly similar. Psychologists sometimes call it your psychological immune system. Its job is to protect you from emotional pain. Without asking permission, your brain slowly begins repairing emotional wounds. It does this in 4 different ways. First, it rationalizes. You tell yourself, maybe that relationship wasn't right for me. Second, it downplays. It wasn't really that big of a deal. Third, it creates distance. That happened years ago. That's not who I am anymore. And finally, it distracts you. Work, friends, new experiences. Life keeps moving. Little by little, the emotional sting disappears. Not overnight, but almost without you noticing. Here's the interesting part. If your brain works so hard to reduce pain, why doesn't it erase happiness too? Because happiness isn't dangerous. Pain can stop you from living. Imagine feeling every heartbreak, every embarrassment, every failure, with the exact same intensity forever. Most people would never recover. Your brain knows that, so it protects you. But joyful memories don't threaten your survival. There's no emergency, no repair needed. So they fade naturally, without the brain trying to erase their emotional glow. But there's one important exception: trauma, severe accidents, abuse, combat, deep emotional loss. These experiences are stored differently inside the brain. Sometimes they don't fade at all. They remain vivid, powerful, almost as if they happened yesterday. If an old memory still feels overwhelmingly painful after a long time, it may be more than an ordinary bad memory. And reaching out to a mental health professional can make a real difference. So, how can you actually use this? First, when life feels unbearable, remember this: your brain is already working behind the scenes. The pain you're feeling today is very unlikely to stay this intense forever. Second, be careful with rumination. Repeating the same painful thoughts again and again can interrupt your brain's natural healing process. And finally, protect your good memories. Write them down, take photos, tell stories, relive them, because the memories you revisit often stay brighter for much longer. So here's what we learned. Your brain naturally lets emotional pain fade faster than positive emotions. It does this through something psychologists call the psychological immune system. But trauma follows different rules and sometimes needs professional support to heal. The next time you wonder, will this pain ever go away? Remember, your brain has been quietly working on that answer all along. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe, and join us for more fascinating psychology and human behavior. Because sometimes, understanding your mind is the first step toward changing your life. Thanks for watching.